Pastor Bill here. Listen, I want to talk to you tonight about some things that are going on in my personal life. And before I get into it, I want to let you know that I still believe and have always believed that a lot of details in people's personal lives really don't belong on Facebook. When people go through relationship issues or marital problems or things of life like that, so many times people blast their grievances with one another on Facebook, or their situations, or attempt to gain sympathy or uh, support or what have you for the one party against the other, et cetera, et cetera. And I've always found that to be distasteful and just really not very Christ-like and godly. At the same time, as the pastor of City of God Church and a part of the Champion City Mission and Inside Out ministry, there are so many people involved in my life, in our lives, who look to us for spiritual guidance, for relationship counsel, who are involved with us and in whom I'm involved in, who really care about what's going on in our lives. And they've noticed some differences in the last few weeks, and a lot of folks have questions. Some people have come to me at church and asked questions. Some people have called or come by the office, and I understand that. I get that, and I'm very open to that. We care about one another as we should. I still don't believe that it really belongs on Facebook, even the post that I'm about, or that I'm in the process of recording. But earlier today, I noticed that my wife put a post on Facebook, broadcasting, advertising to the world that she's living in a homeless shelter and has left me, the ministry, the home, all of the things that, according to her, she once held dear, etc. And so I've got a lot of questions now. People are inboxing me, texting me, calling one another, I'm sure, saying, gee, what's going on? And so it seems like a response a public response is necessitated. So yes, it is true that my wife and I have, after 18 years, decided to go our separate ways. It's true that about 3 weeks ago, Deborah chose to leave. And what I will say, I really have no interest in getting into mudslinging or character attacks or things like that. And one of the reasons I've been so silent on this issue is I have no issue. Anything I would say might sound like I was trying to criticize her or disparage her character, and I certainly would have no interest in doing that. I will say that there have been no issues of infidelity on either side. Neither side is guilty of anything that I would characterize as illegal, immoral, or unethical. But we do certainly have some irreconcilable differences, and have always had those irreconcilable differences, and have apparently come to the place where we've decided that she's decided, and I have come to agree that a future relationship would be impossible. So she chose to leave on her own. She did leave, and I've since filed for divorce. And again, I don't think that information belongs on Facebook, but since it's already been published, I will confirm it to those of you who care and have been reaching out, so that you'll know. She also published on Facebook that she's staying in a homeless shelter, and having been part of a homeless shelter before, how ironic that it is that she's now in a shelter. Without getting into mudslinging or attacks, I do want to assure you that that is a choice and not a necessity. I have very good reason to believe that she has more than enough resources in her own name to avoid being in a homeless shelter, to perhaps even buy the homeless shelter if she wanted to. She certainly has enough resources to provide a home and to avoid being in a homeless shelter. I don't know if it's to gain sympathy or if it's just out of confusion. I don't know why, or maybe to experience it I don't have any idea why that she would have made that choice, but I wouldn't want anyone to think that it was forced upon her, or that I had somehow had abandoned her or left her in such state. That simply isn't true. Beyond that, I don't want to say anything that would be disparaging or harmful, and I probably won't post on this again. Those of you that know me or us, that know us intimately or closely, part of the church or part of the ministry or our personal friends, feel free to call. I really don't have a lot more information to give you than what I've given, but I do pray for us. Pray for this new chapter. I know that God is wonderful. I'm as confident as ever that He has great things in store for this church, for the ministries that we're involved in, for the people whose lives are being affected every day at the Champion City Mission and every day at City of God Church, for the thousands of people who partake in the free food that we're able to serve and to distribute. And I'm so thankful for that. We haven't missed a church service. The church will continue. The homeless mission is still open, and people are still coming and their lives being transformed. I remain as committed as ever and as thankful to God as ever for what He's doing in Springfield and what He's doing in these ministries. So please pray for us, and I appreciate you. God bless.